Hello aviators, I am Newsmaster Nimisha and I welcome you all to the very first edition of 7 at 7. 7 News at 7 p.m. on the 7th day. A weekly news roundup show where we cover the top 7 news of the week from the aviation space every Sunday at 7 p.m. So without any further ado, let's get started. Here are the top 7 headlines from the aviation space for this week. Boeing has officially bid goodbye to the legendary 747 jumbo jets. Domestic airlines in India faced 546 technical snags during aircraft operations in 2022. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has announced 50 new airports to enhance air connectivity. The Air India Group is expected to have an operating profit in financial year 2023. India is now the world's third largest aviation market. Digi Yatra, the paperless check-in and boarding services, will be introduced at 4 additional airports in next month. India is now one of the top 5 passenger markets for Singapore's Changi Airport. The first news comes from the aircraft manufacturer. Boeing said goodbye to the Queen of Skies, the Boeing 747 jumbo jet, the first of its kind, as it handed it over to Atlas Air on Tuesday afternoon, signaling the end of an era. Since its maiden flight in 1969, the mammoth jet has functioned as both a cargo as well as a commercial airline. It could carry roughly 500 passengers while serving as a space shuttle for NASA and Air Force One presidential aeroplane. Thousands of Boeing employees, including some of the so-called Incredibles who worked on the jet in the 1960s, were due to witness the historic plane's last handover, which took air travel to the masses and symbolized an everlasting piece of history. Domestic airlines in India faced 546 technical snags during aircraft operations in 2022. According to statistics submitted by the Civil Aviation Ministry in a written reply to the Lok Sabha on Thursday, domestic airlines faced a total of 546 technical snags during the operations of planes last year. Out of them, the country's largest airlines, Indigo, faced 215 snags, while SpiceJet saw 143 snags and Vistara had 97 snags. Air India experienced 64 snags, while Go First and Akasa experienced 7 and 6 respectively. The number of snags was slightly higher last year at 546 as compared to 544 in 2021. Through a system of surveillance, audits, spot inspections and night surveillance, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, DGCA, guarantees that the airline maintenance organization continue to comply with regulatory standards against which they were initially approved. Now some news from the Union Budget. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has announced 50 airports to enhance air connectivity. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman outlined steps to boost regional aviation connectivity in the Union Budget 2023-24 on Wednesday. She stated that 50 more airports, heliports, water aerodromes and advanced landing fields will be reopened. She also stated that 100 essential transportation infrastructure projects for last and first mile connectivity for ports, coals, steel, fertilizer and food grain sectors has been identified. This step is aimed at boosting the existing UDAN scheme, which aims to increase domestic connectivity throughout the country. The total number of tourism routes has expanded to 59 under the UDAN scheme, which aims to boost regional connectivity by making it cheap. Out of 59, currently 51 are active. Good step in the right direction. Now, moving on to the next piece of news coming from the aviation sector, and a good one. The Air India Group is expected to have an operating profit in financial year 23. Air India and its low-cost subsidiary Air India Express are expected to achieve a combined operating profit this financial year, indicating a turnaround in less than a year. Air India and its low-cost subsidiary Air India Express are expected to achieve a combined operating profit this financial year, indicating a turnaround in less than a year after the Tata Group purchased the airline from the government. Excluding Air India Express, which operates low-cost flights to Southeast Asia and the Middle East, air sector is expected to post an operating loss of around Rs 2,450 crore. nearly a third of rupees 7,000 crore loss it reported in financial year 2022. Reportedly because of ongoing loss on the cost of bringing grounded planes back into service. The airline has undertaken numerous steps under the Tata Group, including performance-based incentives for travel agents and the introduction of revenue management software. These have contributed in improving the price as well as the business class load factor, hence increasing yield. Yield has grown dramatically on both domestic and international routes, as demand continues to surpass supply in the sector due to supply chain constraints. Air India also benefited from the closing of Russian airspace to US and European airlines, which lengthened their transit time to India and in certain circumstances rendered numerous routes unviable. So the Maharaja is on its way back. Now moving on to news number 5. India is now the world's third largest aviation market. Yes, you heard it right. President Draupadi Murmu stated in Parliament on Tuesday that India has surpassed Indonesia to become the third largest aviation market in the world and is expanding quickly, with 147 airports as opposed to just 74 in 2014. The country's civil aviation sector, according to the economic survey released by Finance Ministry, has significant potential because the country's civil aviation sector, according to the economic survey released by the Finance Ministry, has significant potential because of rising middle-class demand, higher disposable incomes, and favorable demographics. According to the economic survey, air travel has recovered after the coronavirus pandemic-related restrictions were lifted. Passengers and cargo movement are now close to pre-COVID-19 levels in the current financial year, further demonstrating a rebound. According to the survey, the overall number of passengers transported in December 2022 was 15 million, which was 106% of the pre-COVID level. According to the survey, the overall air freight tonnage in November 2022 was 250,000 MT, which is 89% of pre-COVID levels. Now going forward to news number 6. Digi Yatra, the paperless checking and boarding service, will be expanded to 4 more airports in March: Kolkata, Pune, Vijayawada and Hyderabad. The project is now at execution stage, according to a written response from the Ministry of Civil Aviation to the Lok Sabha question. The Digi Yatra service, currently available at 3 Delhi, Bengaluru and Varanasi airports, is a project started by the Ministry of Civil Aviation for a biometric boarding system utilizing facial recognition technology. This smooth and trouble-free experience at the Indian airports is a voluntary facility for air passengers. Its major goal is to improve the passenger experience by doing away with the need for a ticket and ID verification at various contact points and to increase the current infrastructure utilizing a digital framework. The Digi Yatra free app is available on both the Android and iOS platforms and can be downloaded on any smartphone via Google Play for Android or the App Store for iPhones. So if you are traveling from these cities, digital is the way. Now coming to the last aviation news of the week. News number 7. India is now one of the top 5 passenger markets for Singapore's Changi Airport. As the country recovers from the pandemic, India was placed 4th among the top 5 passenger markets for Singapore's Changi Airport, which handled 290,000 flights and 32.2 million passengers in 2022. According to a news statement issued by the Changi Airport Group on Tuesday, Australia led the airport's passenger market, followed by Malaysia, Indonesia, India and Thailand. According to the latest statistics, 219,000 flights or 57.2% of the 382,000 flights in 2019 took off or landed at the airport. In 2022, around 32.2 million passengers went through Changi Airport, accounting for roughly half of the airport's passenger footfall in 2019, prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the report, Changi Airport air traffic reached 82% of pre-pandemic volumes in the first week of 2023, with 5,600 flights, linking Singapore to 143 destinations in 48 countries and territories globally. So these were the top 7 news of the week from the aviation sector. This brings us to the end of our first edition of 7 at 7. Hope you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for the next edition. Same time, same day, 7 news at 7 p.m. only on Unacademy Aviation.